Hey guys, welcome to my video. So, man, I'm having this situation here where this car is not starting. It's, I mean, I am parked right now at a CVS and just got into my car, tried to start it, and there is no crank whatsoever, which sucks so much because I had this car working the way I've wanted to work. And this car's been driving good for a good little while, and I was just hoping that it would just keep on being that way. But apparently I just ran into this issue where the car won't crank at all today, which is now leaving me stranded. So I tried starting the car about 10 times already, and nothing works. So everything else works in the car. The dash works, you know, the AC, the blow motor works, the radio works, everything works in this car, but I just can't get it to crank up. And the funny thing is, I changed the starter. Man, I'm thinking it's a starter at this point, but I changed the starter 6 months ago. I just changed the starter in this car 6 months ago, and this starter's not lasting 6 months. I think it's the starter. Okay, I don't think it's the alternator. I've actually never had issues with the alternator. This car wasn't running when when I had this issue. This car was absolutely 100% off when I had this issue. So normally, if the alternator is an issue, the car would be running and it's just not charging the battery and turn off, and the car would just turn off by itself. And the other thing is, I had somebody try to help me jump this car. A big truck, put some cables on it, and this car's not starting at all. It's not cranking. It's doing the exact same thing. So I could rule out the alternator. So I could also rule out the battery, considering if it was a dead battery, putting cables on the car and having it charge up for a couple of minutes before cranking it. It should at least have a slow crank if if the battery was low and the charge wasn't adequate enough to get this car started. I would still have a slow crank I would still hear a slow crank, but I'm not hearing a slow crank at all. So I could rule out the battery, I could rule out the alternator. The only other thing I could think of is maybe it could be the fuse or the relay, but I do hear a click coming from this. I do hear a click. And normally if I don't hear a click, it means the solenoid is not clicking. But there's electricity going to the starter, and that's why I'm hearing the click from the solenoid. So I don't think it's the fuse or the relay. If it was the fuse, I've had issues with fuses before and cars not starting, but normally that would be a no crank. Well, that would normally be a crank but no start issue. It won't turn over, but it would crank. So normally that would be a fuse box problem, but I don't think it's the fuse box. So I'm thinking maybe could be the relay, but it's not the relay because I'm getting juice. I'm getting juice to the starter itself. So I mean, I'm like 99% sure that it's the starter and it's warranted, but just having to do the work to put it in or charge somebody to put it in, I don't want to do that. I mean, it's not even the cost of the thing. It's me putting time and wasting my time with this crap. It really, 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 really sucks. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to bump the starter to see whether I can actually get it to start up, because I gotta be somewhere, and this car is really killing me with this situation. I've had these situations before with starter issues, and I gotta tell you guys, I'm pretty familiar with it, and at this point I'm like 99% sure that it is the starter that's the problem. And the thing that sucks about this is man, those starters, you guys get it rebuilt from AutoZone or whatever those places are. They're just complete junk. Reason being is that when they uh, rebuild the starter, they don't actually rebuild all the parts to it. They rebuild the part that's broken. All right, so the rest of the starter could have like whatever mileage that was on there, and the new part has like 0 mileage on there, and they'll just sell it as a rebuilt starter, but it's not 100% rebuilt. It's rebuilt just that single part. And but the other thing is I've had issues with starters where I bought it brand new and happened the same thing where a year later it goes out. I mean it's got a warranty on it, but but darn, that's not something I want to do, something that I want to work with. This is not something that I want to have issues with at this point, just having taken guesses on whether the starter is going to hold up or not. But I've had really no issues with this car for a while that I've had it, and all of a sudden this becomes a problem. My alternator, I changed the alternator a year and a half ago. It's been working fine. I've had no issues with it. Tested it, not a problem at all. But this car with the starter right now, I'm almost guessing that I'm not going to be able to get it started. Now, as far as me having issues with this problem, I didn't have too many issues to this problem. I mean, like a couple months ago, I had a try to start a couple of times before it actually turned over, and it actually worked, and it worked fine after that without a problem. So maybe like there may have been like maybe like two or three cases during like the last couple of months where I get into my car and I try to start the car, and this thing won't start up, but I'll try to start it up for like maybe like 4 or 5 times, and it'll eventually start up. It'll eventually crank right up. And unfortunately, at this point, I did it 10 times. Even with it, the previous situations, I didn't have a jump, nothing like that. I just thought maybe the battery was weak or whatever. I had the battery changed out. The last time this happened, I had the battery changed out. Bought some Walmart value brand batteries, put it in. Those are all right, not a problem. But this situation is not a battery issue at all. It's a starter issue. And I don't think me bumping the starter is going to work, because they say that, but most of the time that's not. Most of the time that doesn't work. I've actually tried it on a couple cars before. I mean, sometimes it works, but most of the times it doesn't work. But I'm gonna get this thing. I'm gonna get this thing towed. There's no way I'm starting it, because I've tried it so many times already. I'm gonna keep you guys updated. All right, guys. Hey guys, how's it going? So turned out it was the starter. I had to get it changed up. It kind of sucks. Now I would go out and buy an OEM starter from like eBay or whatever. I would like try to get that from eBay, but unfortunately, the problem is I don't have time for that. So I mean, I would rather not go back to AutoZone and do the whole warranty thing on it, but that's what I did. Because I had no time to waste as far as waiting like a whole entire week. This is my only car. I wasn't gonna wait a whole entire week to get a starter, but I went to AutoZone. They took it back, gave me a rebuilt one. I got a rebuilt one, and I'm just hoping that this thing lasts me more than that last starter lasts me, because 8 months on a starter, this thing should last for like 100 and something thousand miles. I only put in like freaking 10,000 miles since I had that starter, and that thing should just fire up every single time up to like 150,000 miles. But like I told you guys about rebuilt starters, even new starters, they're not they're not they're not rebuilt or new. I mean, it's just what they say. They're not 100% rebuilt or new. Unfortunately, that's the case. Had to shell some money to get this job done again, which I really wish I didn't have to do, but I did it anyway because I had no choice. Good thing I had AAA. Waited an hour for it, for them to pick up my car. Wasted some time. I even told the guy at AutoZone about the situation. Kind of sucks, but he said he couldn't do anything about it. Gave me, swap it out for another rebuilt one. Wouldn't even give me a brand new one. Gave me a rebuilt one. Not surprisingly, I'm a little bit, angry about it, pissed off about it. But what are you gonna do, right? What are you gonna do? But well, guys, if this video has helped you guys in any way, please give me a thumbs up. If give me a thumbs up. If you guys want to comment, leave a comment. Please, subscribe if you guys haven't already. All right, guys, take care.